Hi, Nova Babes. um, Another new set of glasses. I got these with my other ones. I like these ones, but like they sit kind of weird on my ear, so it's not as enjoyable as my other ones. But I don't know. I I'm feeling really called just to share. I do have my emotions deck. I don't know. I Most of the time I just go on whatever spirit's telling me to say, and right now it just feels like vulnerability, for myself, maybe for yourself as well. Like maybe you feel like there's a part of you that you're unable to feel, or maybe you are feeling a lot, right? Maybe you're teetering. Like I know for me, I'm feeling a lot, but there's also this energy of like, oh, I just don't feel like feeling right now. Like I just don't want to deal. I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to push it down and keep moving. But I feel so heavily that spirit is like, no, like you do need to feel it. And, it puts us at such a crossroads, right? Of where we're like, okay, this is what I know I need to do. This is what I'm feeling like I want to do. So, what is the difference between the need and the want? And that's where I'm struggling. I'm struggling a lot because I know that there's a lot of stuff that I need to feel and need to heal. But there's also a lot of stuff that I'm just so tired. My capacity is above maximum. And I'm trying to get myself in a place that my body and my mind and my spirit are all lining up where it feels better, where it feels like I can make sound decisions and make sound choices and feel connected with myself and not second guess myself, not push myself, not overdo it, but just like be there. I'm having a hard time doing that. I got my sketchbook and I'm making a plate for Luna for her birthday. And there's just a lot of creativity I have coming up. And I feel really good to be able to because like the plate is like a part of my gift, but also I feel like I want to make Luna like these canvas pictures every year. I didn't do one last year, but that's okay. I want to do one starting at the age of 2 on forward of just like her personality, like the number, and then like things that are her personality. Like she loves Moana, she loves turning red, she loves like being outside and pizza. And like, I want to do that. Like, I want to create stuff as like memories for her, not only for her, but for myself as well. And I feel like it's a great spot for me to express myself creatively, to really bring that out. 333 as I say that. But I also feel like there's this part of me that is so, like, I'm just so sad. I really am. And I think I'm sad. I'm so sad because there's so much stuff that I'm grieving. Like, I'm grieving stuff with my parents, with how I am as a parent, with my marriage, with my friendships, with who I am, my business. Like, there's so many things that I'm grieving because there's so many things that are changing. And I feel like there's this level up. Like, I feel it, but I'm nervous. Like, am I ready? Is this actually something that I can do? Is this actually something, not only can I do it, but can I do it without falling, without failing, without falling flat on my face? Because, like, I know I can do these things. It's at what capacity can I do them? And maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you're in that same boat of like, you're confident that you can do these things, but you're not as confident on how the outcome is going to look. And I'm right in the same boat with you. But that's something about leadership that like most people don't talk about. A lot of people who are leaders in whatever capacity, whether if you're in like manager or maybe you run your own business or whatever it is, right? Like where you have to lead yourself and maybe lead others. There's always this part that like, oh, I have to show up as if I have it all together. And I'm realizing that that's not what real leadership is, at least not for me. It's me being real. It's me being vulnerable. It's me sharing where I'm at and what I need, because the space isn't just created for anybody that's in the group, right? The space is also created for me. And I know that anybody that is in this group is there to support me as well as me supporting them. And all of you guys have shown it in more than one way. And I'm so thankful. I'm so appreciative to be able to have such a close-knit group of people to be able to share and explore my emotions and my journey with. And it's very intimate, you know, like our group is very intimate in the sense of not that many people are involved, but because of how many people are involved, we are seeing so much growth and expansion and change and development in all of each other's lives. And I appreciate that. I love that. But I'm also at this point where I'm like, all right, it's time to evolve. You know, we're coming up on 1 year with Stellanova, and which I'm going to be dropping more stuff this week about options, games, things like that. But we're looking at Saturday the 23rd. I'm pretty sure it's a Saturday, and probably around 8. But when I think of that, I think of like, okay, like how far have I really come in a year? What growth and expansion have I seen? Because I'm seeing it, like I'm seeing it within all of us in different ways. Like I see it, Elise is a great example right now. She was always talking about traveling and being this digital nomad and traveling the world, and she's in Thailand right now, like living her best life, traveling the world, like exploring. And before we even started Stellanova, right? Like she's been talking about that for years, and now I'm watching it play out in real time. Shelby in her career, and David's moving on with his career, and Kate is moving on with their career, and expansion and growth. You know, there was a lot of breakups, there was a lot of pain, there was a lot of hurt, and there was a lot of things that all of us have felt and dealt with, but we were able to deal and feel with each other, which is beautiful. But then it also is like, okay, we've come this far. We didn't come this far just to come this far. Like, how much further can we go? What can we up level? What do we know now that we didn't know then? And I've been thinking about that a lot. I've been thinking about that so much about myself, of like, what tools, what processes and rhythms and consistency that I have grown within myself within this chapter that I can take on to the next, because I feel it very deeply that this next chapter is the life-changing one, and not in the way of how it has been for me, where it's like I just feel like I'm turning every way but loose, but in the sense of like I'm locking in, I'm moving forward, and I'm reaching the dreams and the goals that I've been talking about. And it just feels different. It feels like pressure, but it feels like a release too. It feels like, man, I can finally feel ready enough to hold it, to reach it, to actually go for it, whatever it is for you, right? And I pulled from the emotions deck today because I feel like there's so much stuff that we forget to feel along the way. Anxiety. Exactly. Like we have anxiety. We're always like thinking, processing, pushing. And it's hard, you know, it's hard because you're telling yourself like, what if I can't do this? And what if I'm not good enough? And what if so-and-so? And what if this? And what if that, right? A lot of what ifs for the bad instead of what if it works out? What if it's everything I wanted and more? What if it changes my life for the better? You are deserving, because we do deserve this next chapter. We do deserve this next step. But in that process, it requires renewal. And I know for myself, renewal is like the main thing that I am working on, because I've been building out my coaching program, which, by the way, side note to that, I'm thinking about running my program within this group. Now, granted, it is technically going to be built for more one-on-ones, but I would love to like run it through with you guys first. So that's going to be like not the next 3 months, but within the next month or so, the next 3 months, each week we'll have a particular theme that we'll go over and that we will break down and do. And obviously I want feedback. I want to see and hear what's working, what's not working before I officially launch it. And, you know, I would love to do that within this space. Confirmation to that. Yes, I would love to do that. I think all of you guys would benefit from it in some way, shape, or form. And I believe that all of you could give me constructive criticism from different aspects. And I love that. So since I got a confirmation on that, we will be doing that. But I feel like I'm at this intersection of like knowing that I am going to be seen, and I'm going to be seen on a bigger wavelength, on a bigger level. And I don't know if y'all have felt that, but like when you are online, especially when you're like chronically online, right? Like when you see like the memes and stuff like that, great example that I am using, Brittany Broski. She was the kombucha girl, right? She was the original meme where she like tasted the kombucha and she's like, ugh. And then all of a sudden it was like, something as simple as that, right, has projected her to new heights. She has her own podcast. She has, you know, people who she's dreamed of being around and who she idolizes are coming onto her show telling her, oh, I love your show. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love your personality. Truly an outer worldly experience. And I feel like I'm getting closer to something like that. As I see like my TikToks going up, and mind you, I am reposting from old stuff. Like there are some new things that I've dropped, but if you've noticed, the background is much different than this. It is mainly from stuff that was at my parents' house, but I felt so like when I go through them, when I see them and I post them, it's because I still feel like that feeling is valid. And I am realizing that in this process for myself of trying to heal and trying to move and trying to grow, I have had tower moments in every section of my life on purpose, because those who are meant to be around me have to level up as well. And not only that, but myself included. So manic, I was definitely feeling manic. Actually, I feel like I'm manic more right now. But this one, bottled up. I was so bottled up, especially when it came to my marriage, if I'm being honest, you know. I definitely bottled up a lot of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and I was always under the impression for myself that that was the best thing to do, that like, oh, it's just little things, they're not that serious. But they really were. They were building up in my life, and the bottle cracked. And I'm not saying that I'm excited about, you know, having to rebuild a different foundation within my marriage. It's kind of scary, because this is something that I am just now realizing that I've been holding back from myself for a really long time, of my own thoughts and feelings. And a lot of times I felt like, okay, if I'm going to work on myself, if I'm going to heal myself, if I'm going to focus on me, then that means that I have to do all of this work, that I am this person that needs to run the show, which is true to a certain degree. But I'm also sharing this life with my partner. And not only are we sharing this life together, we're sharing the responsibility of being parents. And I can't bear that weight alone. I can't do this alone. I don't want to do it alone, but I will if it's necessary. You know what I mean? Like if it had to come down to it, I would do anything for my daughter. But I haven't been honest with myself and being real that I need more. I need more. Not the train. Healing. We're in this process, right? Like you see that it's like tears, but there's also like this ripple. That's what it looks like to me. It's like this rippling effect. And it's these tears are growing the flowers, right? You have a field of flowers that are growing, but until you really let it go, there's no way that it can bloom because you're in gloom. And I've been in gloom for a really long time. I know that. And maybe you feel the same way, but in like a different lens. I've been feeling that gloom kind of feeling, that blah, if you will, for the last 2 years. Everything in my life has changed. Every aspect, every relationship, my physical, my mental, my emotional, like every relationship from familiar to romantic to friendships to business, like everything has changed. And I've been looking and feeling like, oh my gosh, I gotta get a grip. You know, I gotta figure this out. How can I build myself up to be better? But now the reality feels so much different. It feels like the universe is putting me at a place of like, stop looking at it from doom and gloom and start looking at it from a place of healing, from a place of beauty, from a place of, you know, the perspective shift. And again, easier said than done. I'm well aware it's easier said than done. But this feels different. It all feels different because there's so much that I've learned. There's so much that I've understood. Interesting. Okay, fed up. See this pissed off face? Same. Like, you're fed up with feeling the way that you're feeling. You're fed up with dealing with everything that you've been dealing with. I know I am. And like, when you get to that point where you're just fed up, you're like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm tired of dealing with this. I'm exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally. I can't keep doing this. What are you going to do to change it? And not doing so of like and pouting, right? Where you use this Aries energy and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna apply for this place, or I'm gonna invest in this, or I'm gonna do said this, or I'm gonna do that. Okay, whatever it is, let's do it. Let's get it done. But your dreams are very important here. It's not just the subconscious part of your dreams, not the physical act of sleeping, but what about your dreams brings you happiness? Seriously, what in this next phase of your life? It doesn't matter if it's about career or if it's about love or whatever the category is. What truly makes you happy? And what does happiness look like? You already know what the fed up version of yourself looks like. So what does the happy version of yourself look like? What can we do to change that? What can we do to really move through that? And for me, mine is the physical act of getting it out of me. Whether if I'm walking, I'm writing, I'm drawing, I'm painting, whatever, right? Whatever it is. I know I physically need to get it out of my body because it's stuck right up here and I'm sick and tired of it. I don't want to deal with it because it's throwing me off. But I know to do so is going to require me to build a new rhythm. But not only is it going to require me to build a new rhythm, it's going to make me have to sit down and think about the things that I really want. And not only do I really want, but what truly brings me happiness. And that's something when I've been telling myself of like, oh, I need to work on myself for the next 3 months. I've never even really considered that until recently this week when I was talking about it in therapy, where I was like, I've always been like, oh, like I want my own place and I want all this money and I want to like be happy. But like, what makes me happy? What brings me joy? These are words that I use, but actually what does bring me joy? I don't necessarily have hobbies. I don't necessarily like stuff that I would consider that thoroughly brings me joy. Like there's some people that can, like, off the top of their head, they're like, oh, well, when I play video games, like I feel good. Like, or when I'm crocheting, or when I'm out with my friends, or when I do this, like this brings me happiness. Like traveling the world or whatever, which, yeah. And it's been so long that I've actually brought happiness into my life in those ways. Like, yes, I'm always happy, like when I'm hanging out with my friends and we go to like a Mexican restaurant and we have fun and stuff like that. Like, yes, that brings me happiness, but I can't do that every single day. So, like, what does make me happy? Listening to the Beyonce Renaissance album makes me happy. Singing in the car makes me happy. Singing in the shower, a steaming hot shower, makes me happy. Like having super in-depth conversations about life and the universe makes me happy. But also being dumb and stupid makes me happy. Whether if it's my friends or with myself or with Donald or with Luna, like spending time with Luna makes me happy. But there's this part of me that, okay, do I deserve this happiness? Can I hold it? But this card came out, fear of abundance. I am so fearful that I will get everything that I've ever wanted and lose it. Like, that's my biggest fear, is like I will finally be up here and then I'll lose it all. Because I've already lost it all. Y'all have been seeing me lose everything that I already had. And yes, I know that it's not the end of the world. I know that I can build myself back up. I know that I can push forward, and I already have. But I've been doing so in a way that it feels like survival, because it is. And I don't want that for the rest of my life. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to constantly be in a state of survival mode. So I'm trying to bring myself back at a base that I know I can expand off of, because this abundance, it's inevitable. It is inevitable. But to do so is going to require such a different change. And it is scary. I don't know about you, but it feels scary because it's something that I just truly don't know. Right? You don't necessarily know what that outcome's going to look like. And there is anxiety around it. But happiness, what truly makes you happy, what truly gives you that joy, is what's going to be your leader. And also slowing down. And slowing down in the sense of not halting, but taking a step back, sitting down, collecting, then figuring out, okay, this has to be step 1 so I can get to step 5, because you can't do all 5 steps at once. And I know, easier said than done, but this is exactly, like, it's got to be one thing at a time. It cannot all switch all at once. And if you're having a hard time figuring that out, share it in group. Be honest, be open, be real, but have the self-confidence to do so. Because there's something with being vulnerable that brings a confidence out that I can only explain as you have to feel it to understand it. Being vulnerable not only with yourself, but with other people in your life, and being real enough will give you more confidence, because if you can do it with them, then you can do it with anybody. And you don't need the validation from other people. You need the validation from yourself. And you need to nurture. Really nurture yourself so that you can grow and become what you truly are meant to be. But we always have a hard time with that. You know, we always have a hard time with growth and the nurture behind it, because the way that society makes us feel is that you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you got to work your ass off and you got to be so in survival mode and so unhappy, so that when you finally get there, you can tell yourself, oh, I've worked like a dog to get here, so I deserve this. But in reality, you don't have to work like a dog to get what you want. You don't have to put yourself in survival mode. You don't have to do these things to deserve good things. You can have slow mornings or slow evenings or happiness on a random Wednesday. You can. but it's about what you feel you deserve. It's about what you feel you do that will get you to that other side. And maybe that's something that you're struggling with, you know. Everything that I thought I was going to talk about this week, I am sidelining. I'm going to switch up this weekly lesson, because I feel like for me, I'm at overcapacity, trying to come up with something new every single day, and then keeping the chat going, and trying to drop in and sharing my thoughts, and sharing, you know, the meetings and all this kind of stuff. Like, yes, I do enjoy doing that, but I cannot keep doing it at the capacity that I am doing at. So there is going to be a shift. There is going to be a change. Confirmation. And I think it's going to be for the better. I think all of us will thoroughly enjoy it so much differently. But I hope you understand from this week's reading that you have the choice. The choice is now yours to switch up your life, to take a hold of it, and to pursue it in a way that truly changes your life. But doing so in a way that you're not running off of survival mode, but you're running off of happiness. Let me see if there's anything else in here. But if you're struggling with that, let's talk about it. It doesn't have to be fully in group. You can always DM me, but let's talk about it, because I believe that we're stronger in numbers when we are going through things, and when other people can hold us as well as holding ourselves. And I think there's somebody specifically in the group that is like teetering on sharing, but they don't want to share because they feel like they're too much, or they feel like they're doing too much. I just want you to know you're not. Okay, you're never doing too much. You're not, your feelings are never too much, none of it. And I know I get those feelings too. I have these moments as well, but the reality is I didn't create this space just for it to all be light and sunshine. I created this space so that even in the dark days, it does not feel as dark and as gloomy. So take the time, check in with yourself, really feel how this is affecting you. You might have to listen to this more than once, but I try to share my vulnerability and be real with you guys, because I believe that that is what helps us grow. And who would I be as a teacher, a leader, a coach, whatever, if I'm not abiding by what I'm saying as well? So take this time to reflect. And maybe reflection doesn't require you to have a journal. Maybe it's a long bath, or a long shower, or a long walk, or a conversation with a friend, or a voice note. I don't know, anything. It could be anything. But take the time to check in. This is the time and the moment to check in of what truly makes you happy. Not just the words, not, oh, this makes me feel happy, this makes me feel whatever, but the real depth and emotion behind it. And what can we focus on starting first to take those steps to get to where we want to be? Because now that we're coming up to a year within this group, I do want us to start reflecting on everything that we've been through and how much we have grown, and what can we utilize with that to expand ourselves and keep growing and keep moving forward. And that's not just for y'all, that is for me as well. This is my homework as well. So I think that's going to be our focus for this week, is the expansion. Like, what is the first step of us being able to take care of ourselves so that we can keep moving forward to this next chapter? Because this next chapter, this is where everything changes. And this is where everything changes for the better. Like, yes, all of the changes that you've been through are for the better, but this is when it starts getting better. You know what I mean? Love y'all. I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll see what comes through. Love you.